My name is Jessica, and I've lived in my apartment for 3 quiet years in a small suburban complex. For as long as I can remember, I enjoyed the calm routine of my life until things started to change with my neighbor Rick. Rick and I had built a friendly rapport over shared greetings in the hallways and casual chats by our mailboxes. He was a kind man, always smiling and even inviting me over for the occasional cup of coffee. But one day, without warning, Rick stopped replying to my text at first. I assumed he was just busy or caught up with his own problems. That assumption, however, would soon prove to be a dreadful mistake. It was a cool autumn night when I first noticed something was wrong. Around a.m., I was awakened by a soft, rhythmic sound coming from outside. Lying in bed, I tried to convince myself that it was only the wind or the old pipes in the building, but the sound was too deliberate, like someone methodically working on something. Unable to shake the eerie feeling, I got up and crept to my window. Peeking through the slightly drawn blinds, I looked over at Rick's backyard. Under the weak glow of a streetlight, I saw a figure standing over a freshly dug deep hole. The person held a shovel in one hand and seemed entirely focused on their task. At first, I assumed it was Rick, perhaps trying to improve his garden or working on some long-forgotten project. My heart thumped harder as I strained my eyes to see more details. Then, the most chilling sight made me freeze. A pair of pale, unmistakable feet protruded from the darkness of the hole. I blinked hard, convinced my mind was playing tricks on me. The next morning, my hands still trembling, I forced myself out of bed. I expected to see something odd or hear a strange rumor about what had happened the previous night. Instead, as I passed by Rick's apartment, I saw him sitting on his porch, calmly sipping his morning coffee as if nothing were out of place. The normalcy of his demeanor only deepened my unease. I couldn't understand how the neighbor I'd known for years could appear so nonchalant after something so disturbing. Later that afternoon, my phone buzzed with a new text message. My heart skipped a beat as I read the message from Rick. "You saw something last night, didn't you?" I sat frozen, my mind reeling with confusion and terror. How could he know what I saw? I desperately replayed the scene in my head, the quiet digging sound, the shadowy figure with a shovel, and those ghastly feet emerging from the ground. Every detail felt more real and terrifying than before. Unable to shake off the dread, I decided to check the footage from my security camera that overlooked the side of the building. I rewound the recording to around a.m., hoping for an explanation or at least confirmation of what I had witnessed. What I saw made my blood run cold. The footage clearly showed a man in the backyard, not Rick, digging with slow, deliberate movements. The man's face was hidden in shadow, and his motions were unnervingly methodical. As the video played on, the horrifying truth dawned on me. The man digging was not the friendly neighbor I knew. I later learned from a whispered conversation among a few neighbors that Rick had been reported missing for a few days. Rumors had started to circulate about a terrible accident, though no one knew for sure. The thought that Rick had been dead for 3 days and that his body might have been disturbed was almost too much to bear. I stared at the screen in disbelief, my hands shaking uncontrollably. The figure in my camera was not Rick, and the hole in his backyard seemed to hold a secret too ghastly to comprehend. Since that night, an overwhelming sense of dread has shadowed every moment. I can't help but wonder what truly happened, and why Rick's presence still lingers in such a twisted form. I haven't called the police, partly out of fear that I won't be believed, and partly because the mystery seems far too murky. Every time I pass by Rick's porch, I can't help but glance at that deep, dark hole in his backyard and shudder. I still receive that message on my phone from time to time, a reminder that something is very, very wrong. Even now, as I write this, my mind races with unanswered questions. Who was the man in the video? What exactly happened to Rick, and why was his death kept a secret? The details remain vague, like a half-remembered nightmare that I can't quite shake off. All I know is that my life was forever changed by that eerie night, and I will never be able to look at a quiet suburban street the same way again. Some truths, I've learned, are best left buried in the dark, where they can whisper their secrets without ever being fully understood.